Hello and thank you for watching. My name is Cody Davis, and what we're about to discuss is postmodernism, or more specifically, postmodern theories. At the top, I'm simply giving you a comic. Around this, I've given you examples of postmodern architecture, art, and photography. If I were to describe postmodernism in just two words, it would be deviant and abnormal. As part of this discussion, we'll be looking at two different postmodern social theorists, the first of which is Frederick Jameson. Frederick Jameson was born April 14th, 1934 in Cleveland, Ohio. He was a Marxist and a philosopher, an American literary critic, and a political theorist. He viewed postmodernism both as catastrophe and progress altogether. He saw it as having great advancements paired with great exploitation and alienation. He rejected Marx's grand narrative, and where Marx suggests we end in revolution, Jameson proposes we come to postmodernism, that is, a passive and largely confused mass society. Jameson describes capitalism in three basic phases, the first of which is market capitalism, which was described best by Marx. The second is imperialist or global capitalism, as seen during the time of Lenin. And what we are at now, as coined by Jameson and Mandel, is late phase capitalism. This stage of capitalism has introduced a new form, a pure form of capital, by which we are all trying to achieve and thus rank one another by. This form of capital is knowledge. Jameson describes postmodernism as nothing more than cultural logic. That is, postmodernism is a new culture spawned by capitalism in order to help maintain itself. It is not the era we live in, rather, it is our culture. It is our art, it is our architecture, our sciences, and our ways of thinking. The postmodern society is described very simply by Jameson as a simulacrum. That is, our society is nothing more than a copy of a copy. Our ideals, our norms, are nothing more than a poor reflection of a society that has come and gone already. As a possible solution to all of this, and a direction to enter as we go through the new postmodern age, is cognitive mapping. Jameson likens cognitive mapping to Marx's class consciousness, where we draw lines of diversity and differentiation. Jameson says, shed all barriers and come together. The last of our social theorists that we will look at is Jean Baudrillard. He was born July 27th, 1929. He died March 6th of 2007. He was a sociologist, a philosopher, political commentator, and also a photographer. He was a Marxist by trade and largely focused on contemporary society. Baudrillard thought Marx's views were too plain. Where Marx focused on ideas and theories about work and value, Baudrillard says that's too conservative. As an alternative to communism and economic exchange, Baudrillard offers symbolic exchange, that is, a cycle of gifts and counter gifts. Baudrillard describes capitalism, much like Jameson, as being in a late phase. He would likely describe capitalism as out of control. Capitalism, as described by Baudrillard, has shifted its objective from exploitation and profit simply to sheer domination. Perhaps Baudrillard would say the biggest oversight of our risk society has been allowing capitalism to come to what it is today. The postmodernist perspective concludes that diversity is the order of the day. Just as the modern world differentiates and does well to draw every possible line between you and I, postmodernism de-differentiates and tries to unify and pull away all diversity from our thought. Baudrillard offers a very grim reality. That is, he says we live in a hyper reality. The information that we have given and the reality we feel our world is based upon is not real. Capitalism's reality has been constructed largely by its media, and in this day and age, it's increasingly difficult to tell the real from those things that simulate what is real. Examples in our American culture today would be GMOs, Fox News, CNN, tabloids, reality TV, fast food, and knockoff Gucci handbags. If you were to ask me to offer you a glimpse of the postmodern world, it would be much of what we see today. In fact, most of our world is postmodern, but most of us don't realize that. A glimpse into this world would show you high diversity, fusion of ideals and religion, changing gender behavior, females with careers, single dads, mass confusion, alcoholism, and drug addiction. You would see a world of changing behaviors. You would see a dangerous world, a world filled with threats of world war, crime, pollution, and global warming, but seemingly little answers to any of that. It would be a very confusing world. What I'd like to offer you next is a glimpse into the postmodern world that is a bit on the lighter side.
And it helped make my dream come true because this is it. Who's there?
Do you do whatever you're doing professionally, or you have another job?
No, I'm a trainee lawyer, and I've been doing it. Yeah, I'm guilty. No, but I used to do this when I was a kid, and I've been doing it in the evenings and on the weekends.
Okay, well, we're curious. Off you go.
Thank you very much. Hit it.
Taking off, man!
You may be asking, why would I show you that video? What does it possibly have to do with the postmodern world? When the man with the broom came out as the other man was dancing, what you saw was one style contrasted and conflicted with another. The two fight against each other, and finally, towards the end, you see a unification. You see them sync together to become one of the same. You see the crowd get into it, unified, all the same, just as the two dancers. You are shown a blend of music, a blend of culture, dance, rhythm, and race. And that most definitely classifies as postmodern. Thank you for watching.